What's going on, y'all? So I want to bring something to your attention that probably a lot of people don't realize. Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao ducked the dumb shit out of Canelo Alvarez. Let's talk about it.
Straighter, not a roundhouse right hand.
And that's what we've been talking about. The straight shot is the one where he gets leverage on it.
I don't want to kill
Pull
somebody
back
for
a
a
little
few
bit.
seconds.
Nah, I want a body on my record.
Now I want to see you fight, motherfuckers. I do. All right, I'm with you. I'm with you. As long as you're trying to fight the great, the best competition.
Entitled. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
In 2011, Governor Louis Chavez Singson, a close friend and confidant of Manny Pacquiao, said Mexican billionaire Carlos Slim offered Manny Pacquiao $65 million to face Mexican boxer Canelo Alvarez. In Mexico in 2012, Governor Singson said that Carlos Slim told him on a phone call about his desires to host Pacquiao's fight as a favor to his countrymen who have been looking to see Pacquiao fight on their soil. At the time, there was a bullshit offer about $65 million for Manny Pacquiao to fight Floyd Mayweather. That's what they were saying the whole fight would have been worth. For Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, it was talking $65 million, right? We all know in hindsight that Manny Pacquiao got about $100 million, but after 5 years. This was in 2011. This was a year after Floyd Mayweather had called Manny Pacquiao out because they were supposed to fight in March of 2010. So a year after that, that is when the talks of $65 million was going on, and they Bob Arum doing some bullshit ass lies talking about how Floyd Mayweather this and Floyd Mayweather that when they know it was about the drug test, but whatever. So Carlos Slim was in on negotiations like the rest of the world was. Not in on them, but he knew about it. But what he said is, he said he'll guarantee Manny Pacquiao $65 million to fight Canelo Alvarez in Mexico. Slim wanted to bring Pacquiao to Mexico as a favor to his countrymen who have long wished to see Pacquiao fight in their country. That's what they said. They wanted to see Pacquiao fight in Mexico. Now, for y'all that don't know who Carlos Slim is, at the time in 2011, Carlos Slim was the richest man on earth. His net worth, not what he had in the bank, his net worth was $74 billion. Carlos Slim owned the only phone company in Mexico. Every cell phone, every fucking dial-up, any phone that you wanted to use, you were paying Carlos Slim. Not only did he have the phone company, and just to put a little perspective on this, at the time, Jerry Jones was only worth $2 billion. At that time, he was worth more than Bill Gates. Just so everybody's aware of that. He owned the phone company, blah, 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 but he also had interest in raw materials, construction, financial institutions, tobacco companies, and he even owned a portion of the New York Times, just to name a few things. But anyways, so Pacquiao at the time, and still now, is very, very popular in Mexico. Just how he talks to the Mexican people and, how he interacts and his Mexican style of always, standing in the middle and just slugging it out and blah, blah, blah. But they fuck with Manny Pacquiao. They cheered his name out even when he fought Juan Manuel Marquez, Eric Morales, Marco Antonio Barrera. When he fought all of them, they still cheered for Pacquiao, even though they was cheering for those Mexicans as well, but they still cheered for Pacquiao. But anyways, at that time, in 2010, is what sparked all of this. Because in 2010 is when Manny Pacquiao moved to 154 and beat Antonio Margarito for the WBC title, for the 154-pound WBC title. That's what sparked it all. Okay, well, Manny Pacquiao, an icon, a legend. You have fought Antonio Barrera, Juan Manuel Marquez, Eric Morales. You know what I'm saying? You have fought these guys. So let's try to get you to Mexico. Let's try to get you to Mexico and fight. And it's the guy, the richest man in the world, during this time in 2011, when Manny Pacquiao was sort of damn near at the heights of it. He was going to guarantee you $65 million. Guaranteed. Anyways, let's keep going. You had just beat Antonio Margarito. You were, that was your 8th division or whatever the case may be. Your 8th division title. You were that dude. At that time, you could have fought Canelo Alvarez. A Canelo Alvarez who had just fought actually, hold on. Canelo Alvarez, he didn't just fight what's his name, but he had fought Ryan Rhodes in 2011, Alfonso Gomez, and Kermit Cintron. That's who he fought, 2011. He was defending his WBC title, his WBC 154-pound title. He was defending his title, and he was right there in the prime of his game. There was absolutely no reason for Manny Pacquiao to not fight him, especially when you're saying the reason why Floyd didn't want you is the money and blah blah blah. But whatever. They at that time, Canelo Alvarez is shorter than Antonio Margarito. He was a little bit stockier, but he wasn't that much big. He wasn't that much bigger. He was campaigning. He had campaigned at 147. He was campaigning at 154 at this time, the 154-pound champion. There was absolutely no reason for that fight to not happen for $65 million. You can't talk about the across the streets because at that time, Top Rank and Golden Boy were on friendly grounds, and they had expressed to the world their willingness and eagerness to work together for the big fights, and that would have been a big fight. So you can't say that the money wasn't there because at that time the richest man on earth was willing to put the bread up for that fight. A guarantee of $65 million for Manny Pacquiao at that time. Now let's put things into perspective. Manny Pacquiao at that time had fought Shane Mosley. So after the Antonio Margarito fight, he fought Shane Mosley. He made $20 million guaranteed for Shane Mosley. After he fought Shane Mosley, he fought Juan Manuel Marquez and made $26 million off of the Juan Manuel Marquez 3 fight. Now, instead of fighting Canelo Alvarez, he fought Sambo Bradley. Instead of fighting Canelo Alvarez, I say again, he fought Sambo Bradley for $20 million. That was the first fight. And he lost. So you fought for $20 million. You fought Shane Mosley for 20. Again, after Antonio Margarito in 2010, Carlos Slim was going to guarantee Manny Pacquiao $65 million to fight Canelo Alvarez in 2012. He was going to guarantee him that. After fighting Antonio Margarito, you go on. Now, you fought Shane Mosley in May, right? You fought Shane Mosley in May. The conversation, the information that came out about Carlos Slim putting up the guarantee to bring Pacquiao to Mexico to fight Canelo Alvarez, that happened after the Shane Mosley fight because he fought Shane Mosley in May. This was in June of 2011 when Carlos Slim said, we can get it popping. So you go on after that to fight Juan Manuel Marquez again, the third time, and you beat him. You got a majority decision. One of them had a draw. One of them had you winning, and actually two had you winning and one had a draw. Although I thought Juan Manuel Marquez, I thought JMM beat Pac in that fight. But whatever, you got the W. Now, unless she was going to run it back immediately, unless she was going to immediately run it back with JMM, then there was no reason for you to fight Sambo Bradley. Again now, Antonio Margarito in 2010, that's who you fought for the WBC, 154-pound champion, 154-pound title. In May, you fought Shane Mosley. You made $20 million. The following month is when Carlos Slim said, I'll guarantee you $65 million to fight Canelo Alvarez in Mexico. You fought JMM again. Again now, I guarantee you $65 million to fight Canelo Alvarez in 2012. So at the end of 2011, in November, you fought JMM. The following year, in June, you fought Sambo Bradley. There was absolutely no reason for you to fight Sambo Bradley. And you lost to him. And you lost. You should have fought Canelo Alvarez in May. That's who you should have fought. In retrospect, just to make sure we're on the same page with everything. In 2011, that is when Canelo Alvarez beat Matthew Hatton for the vacant WBC title at 154. Because Manny Pacquiao beat Antonio Margarito for that belt and then vacated it, which allowed Canelo and Matthew Hatton to fight for the belt that was vacated. After that, he defended it against Ryan Rhodes, 2011. Defended it again against Alfonso Gomez, 2011. Defended it again against Kermit Cintron in 2011. Then in May of 2012, he fought Shane Mosley. Manny Pacquiao in June, instead of fighting Canelo Alvarez in May, for $65 million, you fought Sambo Bradley in June of 2012 and lost. And then, instead of going after Canelo Alvarez in 2012, you fight JMM in the fourth fight and get knocked out. Canelo Alvarez, in the same year, fought Josecito Lopez. Bro, Manny Pacquiao ducked the shit out of Canelo Alvarez, but no one talks about it. Why? Because it's Manny Pacquiao. That's why. Now, let's just make sure we put all the cards on the table. Let's put all the cards on the table. At that time, when Manny Pacquiao ducked Canelo Alvarez, the single highest purse for a fighter in boxing history at that time was $52 million for Oscar De La Hoya when he fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. And that was including all the pay-per-view. Manny Pacquiao had the opportunity to have a guarantee of $65 million. Just a guarantee, not including the pay-per-views, not including anything, the merchandise, nothing. Your guarantee to fight Canelo Alvarez in Mexico was $65 million, which is $13 million more than what Oscar De La Hoya made combined all together, pay-per-views and everything. Canelo Alvarez had the opportunity to make $100 million before he ever even fought Floyd Mayweather in one fight against Canelo Alvarez, because the pay-per-views would have been insane. His guarantee was $65 million in Mexico. You got to add on the gate, add on the American pay-per-views, their world pay-per-views. Add all those. This is Manny Pacquiao we're talking about. Add all those together. Manny Pacquiao could have made 100, maybe 100 plus million against Canelo Alvarez. Guess how better of a position Manny Pacquiao would have been in to fight Floyd Mayweather. Now, again, he made $100 million to fight Floyd. But that was a 60-40 split. Floyd Mayweather went on to fight Canelo Alvarez and blah, blah, blah. But it was a 60-40 split against Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao had the opportunity to make it a 60-40 split potentially in his favor against Floyd, or at least a 50-50 split, at least. But instead, he ducked Canelo Alvarez, ducked him, and fought Sambo Bradley for $20 million. And then fought JMM for 26 and lost both of them. Now, I understand motherfuckers were, oh, BFTB, you're a Canelo hater. No, I'm not. I am a facts guy. And the fact of the matter is, Manny Pacquiao ducked Canelo Alvarez in 2012. BFTB. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. And I'm out.